I'm fine. Good afternoon, honorable members. Good afternoon. May I call to your attention thank you very much, honorable members. Honorable members, I would like to communicate to you that the Right Honorable Speaker has sent a message of apology, and he will not be available this afternoon to preside over this house. And as a result, he has requested that we elect a member to preside over this afternoon session. Therefore, honorable members, as per our rules of procedure, Annex 3, we are going to elect a member who will preside over the sitting this afternoon. And as you well know, that our rules of procedure guide the process under Annex 3 of the rules of procedure of the Assembly. And in electing the member to preside over, we are going to observe the following. Pursuant to Article 53 of the treaty, the Assembly is mandated to elect a member to preside in the absence of the Speaker. Further, the provisions of Annex 3 of the rules of procedure of this House states that 1, the clerk shall preside in the election of a member to preside the Assembly in the absence of the Speaker. The sitting shall be informal, but in the chamber of the House. 2, the nominations for the candidates for election of a member to preside in the Assembly shall be done on the floor of the House. 3, the member wishing to propose a name for the person to preside shall raise in his or her place, and upon catching the eye of the person presiding, shall state that I wish to propose that Honorable so-and-so do take a chair to preside in the Assembly for today's sitting and the subsequent sittings until such a time as the Speaker may be present. The proposer shall be seconded, and if the member proposed consents to the nomination, he or she shall be deemed to be duly nominated. 4, if more than one member has been duly nominated, the presiding officer shall call for a vote by show of hands. The member scoring the highest number of the votes shall be declared elected and conducted to the chair of the Speaker. 5, if only one member is nominated, he or she shall be declared elected and conducted to the chair of the Speaker. 6, the member elected would then make example and brief remarks expressing gratitude for having been elected and submitting himself or herself to the will of the House, the supremacy of the rules of the House, and the laying claim to the privileges of the Assembly and the members. 7, the member elected would make a short adjournment and would lead a procession to the office of Speaker for the Assembly and the members. 8, the Speaker's procession would then return to the House for continuation of the rest of business. 9, during the debate in the House, thereafter, all members shall refer to the members elected as Mr. or Madam Speaker. Honorable members, I therefore welcome you to nominate candidates to preside in the Assembly. Honorable Fatuma.
The Honorable Clerk, I, Fatuma Ibrahim Ali, member of this House, propose Honorable Susan Nakoki to be the Speaker.
Standing. Sorry. I would now like to take this opportunity to invite Madam Susan Nakauchi, the elected, oh yes, Mheshimiwa Speaker. Most welcome to take the seat so that we can make a procession to adjourn. Procedure. Honorable Nduwayo, procedure.
Thank you very much. But you did not close the proceeding. The nomination, you did not close the nomination.
Honorable members, now it is the high time to invite the Right Honorable Speaker-elect to make her extempo and a brief remarks. Madam Speaker, please.
Thank you, Clerk. Honorable members of Council, Secretary General, honorable members of Eala, I'd like to first of all take this opportunity to express my profound appreciation to you all for having elevated me to this high office, albeit for a few days. I feel greatly honored and proud for the confidence and trust you've expressed on me. Having been elected unopposed is a great honor. I submit myself to the will of the House, the supremacy of the rules of procedure of the House, and lay claim to the privileges of the Assembly and the members. And accepting this responsibility, I would like to confirm that I will uphold the dignity of this House at all times, and that I will apply the rules of the House without fear or favor, as I seek to promote the good image of the Assembly. I would also add, when you sit in this chair, you just feel like the Holy Spirit has immediately descended upon you. Please keep me in this chair for as long as you can. With those few remarks, honorable members, I submit my will to the House. I thank you. I now adjourn the House for a few minutes. Don't go very far. Then we shall resume shortly. Thank you.
start with prayers.
Almighty God, who in your wisdom and goodness has appointed the offices of leaders and parliaments for the welfare of society, good of all human lives upon it, and the just government of its people, we beseech you to look with your abundant favor upon us, your servants, whom you have entrusted with the performance of such important trust in this community. Let your blessings descend upon us here assembled, and grant that we may treat and consider all matters that shall come under our attention and deliberation in so just and faithful a manner as to promote your honor and glory, and to advance the peace, prosperity, and welfare of this region and of those whose interests you have committed to us. Amen.
Proceed. Item 1, communication from the chair.
Honorable members, I would like to once again thank you for this honor you bestowed upon me to serve your speaker this afternoon. At the onset, I would like to have the order paper amended to allow Chair Council to table the audited financial statements for the ESC for the financial year ended 30th June 2020.
We proceed. Item number 2 on the order paper, laying of papers. We start the report of the Committee on Accounts on the audited financial statements for the financial year ended 30th June 2020.
Chairperson, Committee of Accounts.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and congratulations. I want to lay on the table the reports of the Committee on Accounts on the audited accounts of the African community for the year ended 30th June 2019. I beg to lay.
Still on the same item, we proceed to Roman 2, audited financial statements for the ESC for the financial year ended 30th June 2020.
Honorable Dr. Makame. Chair Council.
Right Honorable Madam Speaker, honorable members, in accordance with provisions of Article 134(3) of the Treaty for the Establishment of East African Community, I beg to lay on the table the following audited financial statements of the East African Community organs, institutions, and projects for the financial year ended 30th June 2020. Number 1, the East Africa Community Secretariat. 2, the East African Legislative Assembly. 3, East African Court of Justice. 4, the Inter-University Council of East Africa. 5, Lake Victoria Basin Commission. 6, the Lake Victoria Fisheries Organization. 7, the Civil Aviation Safety and Security Oversight Agency. Number 8, the East African Health Research Commission. Number 9, the East African Science and Technology Commission. Number 10, East African Kiswahili Commission. 11, the East African Competition Authority. 12, the 50 Million African Women Speak Network Platform Project. 13, Payment and Settlement Systems Integration Project. 14, the Financial Sector Development and Regionalization Project. 15, the Lake Victoria Basin Commission, Engaging Private Sector in Green Growth Project. Number 16, the LVBC LVEMP 3 PPA Project. And finally, 17, East African Community Statistics Development and Harmonization Regional Project. Madam Speaker, each of the organs, institutions, and projects has got a management letter which forms an integral part of the audit report. Honorable Speaker, I beg to lay.
Thank you, Chair Council. I will therefore refer the audited statements of account of the East African Community for the year ended 30th June 2020 to the Committee of Accounts for consideration.
We proceed with item 3 in order paper. The Community Emblems Amendment Bill 2021, first reading by way of motion.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. I'm rising to move a motion that the Community Emblems Amendment Bill 2021 be read for the first time. I beg to move.
The Community Emblems Bill, Amendments Bill 2021, read for the first time. We proceed with item 4 on the order paper.
Procedure.
Procedure, Honorable Dr. Makame.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Now that the Community Emblems Amendment Bill has been moved for the first time to be read by the way of motion, what is in procedure is that we should get seconders, and also that the Emblems Amendment Act is referred to the relevant committee. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Yeah, that's true. We are supposed to have it referred. So I would like to refer this bill to the Committee of General Purpose for further scrutiny.
We proceed with item 4 on order paper, report of the Committee on Accounts on the ESC audited financial statements for the financial year ended 30th June 2019 by way of motion.
Chairperson, Committee of Accounts.
Procedure.
Procedure.
Thank you,
Honorable
Madam
Ndoye.
Speaker. Thank you, Madam Speaker. And they look lovely in that court. So, Madam Speaker, this bill, I think, should be referred to the regional affairs, not to the general purpose. It's a political affairs anyway.
Clerk, I seek to be guided. Emblems, further procedure. Can we first dispose of one procedure? Now, honorable members, this bill falls in a number of committees, sincerely. Regional affairs being one of them, but general purpose also being one of them. And legal as well. So I'm requesting that this matter be handled administratively to see where we will put this bill. I beg for your indulgence.
Report of the Committee on Accounts on the ESC audited financial statements for the year ended 30th June 2019 by way of motion.
Chairperson, Accounts Committee.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I want to move the motion that the report of the Committee on Accounts of the ESC audited financial statements for the year ended 30th June 2019. I beg to move.
Seconders. Honorable Fatuma Ndangiza, Honorable Abega, Honorable Mnia, Honorable Aden, Honorable Marie Claire, Honorable Kalinda, Honorable Makano, Honorable Mbide, Honorable Thomas Dutz, Honorable, and every member standing. Honorable Wanjiku here to be recognized.
Thank you. I will try to note all the honorable members with my voice. I may take a break and ask one of my colleagues to assist me. You can see the report is voluminous. But I'll move straight away to page 16 that talks about the executive summary. During the review and consideration of the Audit Commission report on the financial statements of the East African community organs and institutions for the year ended 30th June 2019, issues presented were examined and recommendations were proposed. The committee had a budget of $111,709,513, and the actual expenditure was $64,514,538. Hence, an overall budget performance of 58%. Suffice to note is the fact that the donor funding decreased from $20,074,000 in the financial year 2017-18 to $17,721,028 in the financial year 2018-2019. On the whole, the EAC institutions, projects and programs continue to face challenges of low budget absorption due to delayed or non-remittance of funds. This calls for proper budgetary planning, coherence, and consistency in the budgeting process. It is critical that the EAC puts in place an annual forum involving all institutions, organs, and the council to appraise and evaluate itself on the performance of its programs and activities. The follow-up process will be a great opportunity for institutions and organs to review the progress being made in the implementation of the integration agenda of the EAC. It will also assess the challenges faced and devise strategies of overcoming them. Management will also seize the unique opportunity to engage the community in an improvement process. Of even greater concern to the communities that the EAC computer and networks have been highly compromised and leaked to remote users and unauthorized parties to have full access of EAC data and email information in real time. Such a scenario needs to be fully reversed and additional security features installed. Of great concern to the community was the slow or non-implementation of previous audit recommendations, non-provision of quarterly reports to the Assembly as has been recommended in previous reports, delayed recruitment and filling of vacant positions which have remained a huge challenge. Although procurement processes in the EAC organs and institutions have improved, the committee observed continued breach of procurement procedures. Furthermore, gross irregularities and delays were noted in recruitment of project staff, which have delayed project implementation, and at other instances, donors withdrawing the funding due to slow start of implementation of the donor programs. Another concern was a prolonged period of redundancy of the projects of LVBC. The European Union donated a water testing machine to the LVBC. The operations of RM Jumuiya under the revitalized multinational Lake Victoria Maritime Communications and Transport Project have remained redundant 8 years after the machine was donated, and as such, it cannot do the research and water testing services under which it was procured. Further concern was that EAC organs and institutions did not recover from the revenue authorities of partner states accumulated VAT refunds, leading to forfeiture of activities that could have been undertaken using these VAT resources. This process has also been hampered by the fact that the protocol on privileges and immunities has never been fully adopted by the Council for use by the other EAC organs and institutions. The EAC institutional review process has also been a persistent problem at the EAC. It is 10 years since the EAC embarked on an institutional review exercise. Many programs of the institution were dependent on its recommendations, yet There is no optimism on when the Council of Ministers will conclude on this very important matter. The committee was concerned that the Council has abdicated its responsibility of growing the EAC budget to cater for expansion in critical activities and left the decision-making process on the budget to a Committee of Finance and Administration. Many of these members of the FNA are more concerned with the arbitrary budget cuts and activities at the expense of facilitating the EAC to achieve its noble mandate. From the aging analysis of the EAC budget over the last 5 years, it's clear that the EAC budget is on a downward trend. It is therefore important for the Council to take up its responsibility and hand budget ceilings to the EAC well in advance, and the role of FNA committee should be relegated to reviewing and fine-tuning annual operational plans and not budget cutting. Nevertheless, the accounts presented a fair position in all material aspects for the EAC organs and institutions for the year ended 30th June 2019. Their financial performance and cash flows for the period were in accordance with the international public sector accounting standards. I'll now move to page 18, which is the introduction. In accordance with the provisions of Article 134(3) of the Treaty for the Establishment of the East African Community, the Committee on Accounts, while seated in Arusha, Tanzania from 25th May 2021, received and considered the audited accounts for the following East Africa Community organ institutions, agencies, and projects for the financial year ended 30th June 2019. 1. The East African Legislative Assembly. 2. The East African Court of Justice. 3. The East African Community Secretariat. 4. The East African Lake Victoria Basin Commission. 5. The East African Lake Victoria Fisheries Organization. 6. The Inter-University Council of East Africa. 7. The East Africa Civil Safety and Security Oversight Agency. 8. The East African Kiswahili Commission. 9. The East African Health Research Commission. 10. The East African Science and Technology Commission. 11. The East African Competition Authority. 12. The EAC Information and Communications Technology Systems. 13. The East African Capacity Building Foundation Project. 14. The Lake Victoria Environment Management Project. 15. The East African Financial Sector Development and Regionalization Project. And finally, the East African Medicines Regulatory Harmonization Project. In accordance with Rule 74.1 and Rule 81C and Annex 5A of the Rules of Procedure of the Assembly, the Right Honorable Speaker had referred the report to the Committee on Accounts for review. The committee met for this purpose and produced a report. The report covers the committee's findings, observations, and recommendations on the main issues raised, and is divided into the following 3 parts. Part 1, key audit findings of the financial statements of the EAC Secretariat projects and programs for the end at 30th June 2019. Part 2, audit findings on the financial statements of the EAC organs and institutions for the year ended 30th June 2019. Part 3, general observations, recommendations, and acknowledgements. I'm now on page 19, methodology. While undertaking this activity, the committee used the following methodology in analyzing and reviewing the audited reports. 1, document review. The following documents were reviewed: the Treaty for the Establishment of the East Africa Community, the 5th EAC Development Strategy, the strategic plans of the East Africa Community organs and institutions, the rules of procedure of the East African Legislative Assembly, the EAC financial rules and regulations, the council decisions, the EAC staff rules and regulations, the audit commission reports on the accounts of the EAC organs, institutions, and programs for the year ended 2019. The committee interacted with the following stakeholders: members of the audit commission, the council of ministers, and the management teams of the EAC organs, institutions, and projects. Key audit findings on the financial statements of the EAC Secretariat projects and programs. This section includes findings and recommendations on the weaknesses identified during the audit in areas that need immediate management attention for improvement. The EAC budgetary expenditure review. Funding sources. The budget of the EAC is mainly funded through partner states' contributions and development partner support. The activities of the community during the year under review were funded by a budgetary appropriation of US dollars 111.7 million compared to US dollars 111.14 million in 2017-2018. This was a decrease of US dollar 0.56 million. It was also noted that expected development partners' contribution, which accounted for about 41% of the budget, decreased by 21% from US dollars 57.7 million in the financial year 2017-2018 to US dollars 45.14 million in 2018-2019. Remittance of annual partner states contribution. An amount of US dollars 29.59 million remain unremitted from the accounts due for 2018-2019 compared to US dollars 20 million in 20.27 in 2017-18 as depicted below. Out of the total amount, US dollars 19.3 million or 65.3% was due from the Republic of South Sudan. I want to believe everyone has this report, so the details are captured on that table. So I'll move to budget performance. During the year under review, the total approved budget of the community was 111.71 million. However, the organs and institutions of the community, excluding CASOA, managed to absorb only 64.51 million, representing an overall absorption rate of 58%. This means the community did not implement more than half of its planned activities during the year under review. So I'm now on page 21, which is another table that captures the budget performance. I'll just read the institution and the absorption rate. The EAC Secretariat, 48%. The East Africa Court of Justice, 68%. The East Africa Legislative Assembly, 87%. Lake Victoria Basin Commission, 46%. Inter-University Council of East Africa, 81%. Lake Victoria Fisheries Organization, 68%. East Africa Science and Technology Commission, 61%. The East Africa Kiswahili Commission, 57%. East Africa Health Research Commission, 23%. And the East Africa Competition Authority, 99%. On partner states contribution. The partner states contributions due have changed over the last 5 years, with a 46% increase from US dollars 41.89 million in 2014-15 to 61.18 million in 2018-19, as depicted below. However, it was noted that the contributions paid have been declining, leading to an increase in contributions outstanding from 3.94 million in 2014-15 to US dollars 29.59 million in 2018-2019. Some of these amounts have been settled in each of the following years. Nevertheless, unpredictability of funding means that the EAC cannot properly plan and implement its activities, which may negatively affect delivery of its mandates, as indicated on the table below, which is on page 22. I'm now at the bottom, development partner contributions. Receipts from development partners have been declining from US dollars 29.37 million in 2013-14 to US dollars 20 million in 2017-18, representing a 32% decrease in funding despite an increase from US dollars 14.94 million reported in 2016-2017. This implies that some of the activities that were implemented using donor support have not been implemented. It was also noted that there is a low absorption of development partner funds due to financing and staffing limitations. So I'm now on page 23, which is a table showing what I've just read. So I'll go to point number 1 3.6. Findings and recommendations. The reports include findings and recommendations on weaknesses identified during the audit and the areas that need immediate management attention for improvement. The summary of the reports presents the Audit Commission's assessment of its previous recommendations, paragraph 3.1, and brief description of key issues affecting the progress of the community in delivery of its core mandate under paragraph 3.2 to 3.8. These issues are mainly in the areas of weaknesses noted in the financial statements. Gross irregularities were mainly reported in the area of procurement, information technology, management of assets, and in the management of risk and strategy of the community. 1.4, status of implementation of the previous audit recommendations. From the assessment of recommendations made by the Audit Commission in the previous years, the committee noted that on average, only 27% were fully implemented, 10% were under implementation, while 63% were not implemented at all. This is a significant increase in unimplemented recommendations compared to the previous year, 2018, where the unimplemented recommendations were only 24%. The ESC needs to ensure that all outstanding recommendations are fully implemented such that the deficiencies and weaknesses which led to the recommendations are addressed. 1.5, human resources. Various critical positions at the EAC are vacant and have not been filled in most areas such as administration, monitoring and evaluation, finance, planning, among others, despite having budget allocations. These shortfalls in staffing levels negatively affect operations of the community. 1.5.1, concern over overall reduction in staff establishment across the EAC. The committee noted that the amended establishment for the Secretariat, EACJ, Eala, and institutions prepared by the EAC Ad hoc Service Commission has proposed an overall reduction in the staff establishment across the EAC. Whereas some institutions had proposed an increase in staffing, some have proposed reduced staffing levels. Although such reductions in staffing is a cost-saving strategy to the community, it may have a negative implications on the internal controls due to reduction of key staff in internal audit, problem of segregation of duties in finance department, probable security issues arising from reduction of security staff, and other support functions such as administration. The cost reduction strategy through staff reduction will require reorganization, retraining, redefined job functions and descriptions, which if not done may affect the implementation of the EAC-wide strategy, given that the community has expanded its operations considerably over the years. 1.6, tax matters. To date, partner states have not granted VAT exemption to the organs and institutions in their jurisdiction, as required under Article 4D of the EAC Headquarters Agreement, the property, assets, income, and transactions. Entities therefore need to pay VAT on taxable goods and services and subsequently claim the VAT refund from revenue authorities of their respective partner states. As of 30th June 2019, a total of 5, that's EAC Secretariat, Eala, EAHRC, EACJ, LVFO, of the 11 organs and institutions and 1 project had not received VAT refunds amounting to 3.28 million outstanding despite making VAT claims, some of which date as far back as over 4 years ago. I'm now on page 25, unimplemented council directives. Out of the 77 decisions and directives issued by the 38th Extraordinary Council of Ministers meeting held on 30th January 2019, 30% of the decisions and directives are not yet implemented, 36% are still ongoing, 8% are fully implemented, and implementation of 26% directives or decisions is ongoing. Additionally, out of the 23 decisions and directives, 30% not yet implemented, 22 were issued to the Secretariat and its organs for implementation. Furthermore, out of a total of 946 council decisions and directives issued to the partner states, EAC organs and institutions from 2016 to date, 255 have been implemented fully, 213 have not been implemented, and implementation of 238 directives is ongoing, and 140 directives are continuously being implemented. Failure to implement council decisions by partner states and EAC organs and institutions delays the integration process of the EAC. There is urgent need to follow up on all decisions and directives to ascertain the reasons and root causes for the delays and non-implementation of council directives. 1.8 status of assent of EAC bills and delays in passing EAC bills. The enactment of legislation of the community is affected by means of bills passed by the Assembly and assented by the heads of state, and every bill that has been duly passed and assented to shall be styled an act of the community. As per the EAC Development Strategy 2017-2021, Eala had to pass at least 10 bills per year. However, though Eala had planned to pass 16 bills for the year ended 30th June 2019, only 3 had been passed. Delayed enactment of EAC laws may lead the Eala not to attain its objective and that of the community as a whole. 1.9, unassented EAC bills. Heads of state may assent to or withhold assent to a bill of the Assembly. A bill whose assent has been withheld within 3 months from the date on which the Assembly passed it shall be referred back to the Assembly for reconsideration, either the whole bill or a particular provision thereof. If the Assembly discusses and approves the bill shall be resubmitted to the heads of state for assent. If a head of state withholds assent to a resubmitted bill, the bill shall lapse. However, there were 35 bills which had not yet received assent, with some dating as far back as 2017, including 5 bills which have the comments from heads of states. On page 26. In view of the foregoing, the committee may not attain stated funding or founding objective, and there may be no value for money as a result. Review of operations of this Africa Court of Justice. Inefficiency due to appointment of judges on ad hoc basis. Institutionalization of the court is important for the autonomy, independence, and timely dispensation of justice. EACJ staffing includes only 2 full-time judges, namely the judge present and his deputy. Other 9 attend on an ad hoc basis. The total amount spent during the year and audit on this ad hoc 9 judges was US dollars $1,999,459, which is equivalent to paying each of them an amount of $10,180 per month. This is more than the monthly salary of the court's deputy judge present, who earns $7,406 per month. This situation is due to a policy decision from the council which prohibited the recruitment of permanent judges. Yet it is clear that the service of permanent judges would be required. Management was advised to review the plenary performance of the court by undertaking a cost-benefit analysis exercise in line with the recruitment policy of the EACJ to explore the alternative option of having full-time judges. Pending cases. Judgments shall be delivered within 60 days from the conclusion of hearing, except where the court is unable to do so, and in line with the best practices, the judgment must be dispensed fairly and expeditiously. 63 cases were pending as of 6 November 2019, out of which 42 or 67% are pending for periods ranging from 1 year to 6 years. It was observed that the court is in session for less than half of the year. Therefore, it is likely that the pending cases will continue to accumulate further every year. Long delays in delivery of justice in cases undermines the reputation of the EACJ, which may lead to eroding public confidence in the courts. Necessary strategies should therefore be devised to expedite the hearing of long pending cases and make efforts to deliver justice at a reasonable time. page 27, failure to recover diplomatic vehicle number plates. It was noted that a total of 184 diplomatic motor vehicle plates issued to former employees and their beneficiaries had not been surrendered back to the community, even when some of the said staff had left service of the community as far back as over 10 years. Failure to recover the number plates exposes the EAC to a reputational risk that may arise from misuse on the diplomatic number plates. Such number plates ought to be surrendered on the day of separation from services of the community. 1.10.4 Weakness in implementation of the EAC quota system. Contrary to the quota system adopted by the community to ensure recruitment of staff of the community shall as far as possible be reflective of equal representation of the partner states, we noted that the calculation of quota points by the Secretariat excluded the grades of G4 and G5. This was contrary to the requirements of Section 3.3 of the quota system manual, which would have increased the quota points per partner state to 321.05 points instead of 264.3 used by the Secretariat. This biases the application of the quota system. As a result, the 6 partner states had not yet achieved uniformity in staffing as of 30th June 2019. And as such, partner states' points were varying from each other instead of being equal or converging towards equality. In addition, monitoring and evaluation of the system was not being done, and the manual had not been reviewed since it became operational 7 years ago, and contrary to the requirement of Section 6.4 of the manual to review every 3 years. IT system review weaknesses. Due to lack of strategic direction for ICT at EAC, it's noted that several ICT projects were not completed in time. There were several security flaws and breaches in EAC's ICT network, duplication of ICT services at EAC where some of the systems are barely used. This increases costs and exposes the IT systems to unauthorized access. It also appears that the flaws and breaches were calculatedly designed to aid unauthorized access of third parties. I'm now on part 2 on page 28. Current year audit findings on the financial statements of the EAC Secretariat, projects, programs, and organs. I'll move to 2.2, governance issues. The first one is review of payments from general reserve. The Audit Commission reported that upon review of payments made out of the General Reserve Fund, it revealed that a total borrowings from the General Reserve Fund by the Secretariat, organs, and institutions amounted to US $5,675,550 during the year under review. However, out of this amount, $3,293,324.48 was refunded to the general fund account by 30th June 2019, leaving unrefunded balance of $2,382,225.52 due from Eala and EACJ, despite being directed to do so by the 36th, 37th, and 38th Council of Ministers that granted the approval. When the committee interacted with the management of the EAC, it revealed that the non-refund was occasioned by the necessity to fund the budget and programs of the EAC organs and institutions without causing unnecessary disruptions. In addition, the challenges of inadequate funding to the EAC due to delays in remittance of budgetary contributions by partner states made it difficult to refund the borrowing from the General Reserve in a timely manner. Committee observation. The withdrawal of funds from General Reserve without approval of Council of Ministers is an indication of weak internal controls in the management of the General Reserve Fund and exposes the committee to a risk of diversion of funds due to unplanned activities. The current outstanding amount of $700,000 and $600,000 to Eala has not been repaid. The committee further observed that the Republics of South Sudan and Burundi paid part of the outstanding arrears from which some of the recoveries were made. Committee recommendation. The committee recommends to the Assembly towards the Council of Ministers to advise the Secretary General to 1, strengthen the internal controls regarding management of the General Reserve Fund. Any amounts borrowed from the General reserve fund should be refunded promptly after receiving the budgetary contributions from the partner states. The committee further recommends that the outstanding amounts paid by the Republic of South Sudan and Burundi should be used to offset the outstanding borrowings. The Assembly further urges the Council of Ministers to reconsider their decision on payment of money borrowed from the reserve fund and allow organs and institutions to pay back using arrears once they are remitted by partner states and after offsetting their commitments. 2.2.3 unaccounted for administrative meetings and consultancy expenses. The Audit Commission reported that review of administrative meetings and consultancy expenses revealed the following anomalies. A total of $72,733.3 paid for maintenance of IT equipment and telephone calls billed during the financial year lacked accountability documents such as prologues to support the expenditures incurred and payments made. Audit Commission further noted that management had paid telephone allowances to some members of staff based on requests made by the members of staff. However, audit noted that the telephone allowance was not approved by Council of Ministers contrary to Regulation 40 of the AC Financial Rules and Regulations 2012. When the committee interacted with management of EAC, it reported that there was proof that the maintenance of ICT equipment was regularly done by the service provider with approval by the ICT department as a user through the quarterly reports. For the telephone bills, it has been shown to the Audit Commission that call logs from the service provider TTCL are attached monthly to the invoice. For individual calls, EAC has procured billing software that has been used to track individual calls since October 2019. The airtime token made to some staff who are regularly in contact with third parties is an administrative management decision to cover regular and necessary communication from the said staff done while outside the office. Committee observation. In view of the fact that the EAC management failed to provide proof, it was not possible to ascertain whether the funds were utilized for the intended purpose. The committee recommends to the Assembly to urge the Council of Ministers to direct the EAC Secretariat Management to ensure that the missing accountability should be availed to the Audit Commission for verification. In absence of accountabilities, the Secretary General should ensure that the funds are recovered. I'm now on page 30 on outstanding VAT refunds to the EAC. The Audit Commission reported that the EAC VAT returns revealed the following. 1. The EAC Secretariat has an outstanding VAT refund worth $2,589,770 that has not been received from the respective revenue authorities of partner states, despite the EAC Secretariat submitting VAT refund claims. This is contrary to Regulation 83.7 of the EAC Financial Rules and Regulations 2012, which states that the committee shall not pay taxes on any procurement contract with any contractor or supplier from the partner states. The EAC Secretariat was directed by the 37th meeting of the Council of Ministers to resubmit claims for the respective partner states through the ministries responsible for the EAC affairs. It was noted that the outstanding VAT claim of $2,589,770,000 is composed of $1,942,462 charged on partner states contributions and $647,308 was charged on donor funds. Review of the aging analysis of the outstanding VAT refunds to the EAC revealed that claims worth $1,503,315, 58% of total claims, have been outstanding for over 3 years and have been time barred as they have exceeded the 3-year period within which to claim a refund. The balance of $1,086,455, 42%, have been outstanding for 35 months or less without refund. The ESC Protocol on Privileges and Immunities, Article 6(1)(a) and 2, provide that each partner state shall make appropriate arrangements for the remission or refund of the amount on any duty or tax paid by the community in the territory of the partner states that has not been ratified. The ratification was expected to have been done by 30th November 2018 by partner states as directed by the 37th Council of Ministers meeting. When the committee interacted with the management of ESC, it concurred with the Audit Commission observation, but reported that on a quarterly basis, VAT claims are made to partner states through ministries responsible for ESC and foreign affairs. The management further noted that it has continued to engage the partner states through dialogue and consultations so as to fast track the ratification of the ESC protocol on privileges and immunities to enable fast and prompt refunds of the VAT claims. Committee observations. There is a risk that the VAT claims may not be honored if the time frame for refunds is exceeded. The donor partners consider tax as ineligible expenses and expect refunds from the funds contributed by the partner states. This is likely to affect activity implementation because the ESC has to meet this cost from partner states' contributions. Now on page 31. Non-payments of VAT refunds is having adverse effects on the liquidity of the ESC organs and institutions, given the fact that the ESC is already faced with scarce resources. Committee recommendation. The committee recommends the Assembly to urge the Council of Ministers to ensure that the Secretary General, one, engages the partner states to fast-track ratification of the ESC protocol on privileges and immunities to enable refund of VAT claims. 2, prepares a report on VAT refunds on time and submit it to the Council for consideration. 3, urge Council to consider the VAT claims as an addition to the annual budgetary contributions of defaulting partner states. Review of payables. 2.3.1, increase in payables. The Audit Commission reported that review of payables revealed that the Secretariat's payables increased by US dollars 506,265, a 13.2% increase during the period under review, from 3,831,173 as of 30th 06/2018 to US dollars 4,337,538 as of 30th 06/2019, contrary to Regulation 29(1) and 12 of the EC Financial Rules and Regulations 2012. When the committee interacted with the ESC Secretariat, it revealed that the increase in accounts payable in the financial year under review was attributed to the shortfall funding to the Secretariat. Committee observations. 1, delayed settlement of liabilities could affect the Secretariat's relations with service providers, leading to withholding of services to the ESC and possible litigation. 2, the committee notes that the fact that the situation has improved and as a result, significant amount owed as payables has also significantly reduced. Committee observations. The committee recommends the Assembly to urge the Council to direct the ESC Secretariat to promptly offset its debtors. Management of payables. The Audit Commission reported that during review of the creditors' balance worth US dollars 2,599,948 due to service providers for the year under review, it was noted the following. 15 of the creditors with a total balance of 489,861 did not confirm their balances with the Audit Commission by the time of concluding the audit on 15th November 2019. And as far as the Audit Commission could not confirm these balances, furthermore, it was noted that invoices for the air tickets were not being recorded in the manual payables register, making it difficult to reconcile the arrears position. This is contrary to section 16.1.2H of the ESC Financial Procedures Manual 2013, which requires the Secretary General to maintain correct, accurate, and complete records of all financial transactions of the community. Committee observation. The variance between creditors' position and that of the EAC is significant and may result into disputes that could have potentially result in legal suits. There is a risk that these payments could be made for services not received. These variances mean that creditors' balances may be misstated. Committee recommendation. The committee recommends to the Assembly to ask the Council of Ministers to ensure that the Secretary General takes a comprehensive review and reconciliation of the creditor balances, thereafter introduce a periodic reconciliation with the creditors and ensure no invoices is recorded in the payables register without having an agreed position with the creditor. All payments should also be promptly offset. Now on 2.4 budget performance. Funding shortfall to the EAC Secretariat. The Audit Commission reported that during the review of the budget contributions by member states for the financial year 2018-2019, it was revealed that out of the expected total contribution of 18,435,520 US dollars for the financial year 2018-19, the Secretariat only received 11,179,000, about 60%, leaving a balance of US dollars 11,757,776, including the US dollars 4,500,001 and $189 as areas contributions from one partner state. According to Article 132, paragraph 4 of the Treaty of the Establishment of the East Africa Community, the budget of the community shall be funded by equal contributions by partner states and receipts from regional international donations and any other sources as may be determined by the Council. When the committee interacted with the management of the EAC, it reported that it awaits the findings from the Sectoral Council of Ministers of Finance, who commissioned a study on the required financial reforms to align the East Africa Community structure, programs, and activities with financial resources available from EAC partner states in order to ensure sustainability of the community. Committee observations. Significant budget shortfalls negatively affect the EAC Secretariat from implementation of its planned activities, thus impacting on its mandate. The Secretariat relies more on donor funding to bridge the gap, which is not sustainable. Committee recommendation. The committee recommends the Assembly to ask the Council of Ministers to ensure that the Secretary General comes up with stringent measures, including proposals for sanctions as provided for in the treaty, to ensure that partner states meet their financial obligations in a timely manner, so as to enable implementation of the planned community programs. 2.4.2 Revenue performance. The Audit Commission reported that during the audit review, it noted that the revenue sources of the EAC Secretariat for the financial year 2018-2019 and noted that out of the budgeted revenue of 51,949,000, only 24,704 was collected, representing a performance of 88% of the budget. When the committee interacted with the management of EAC, it revealed that the performance was attributed to a number of reasons, such as failure to receive all expected revenues from partner states, development partners, and variation in bank interest rates on investment. Committee observation. Failure to collect revenue affects implementation of the planned activities and therefore failure to adhere to its objectives. The committee recommends to the Assembly to ask the Council of Ministers to ensure that the Secretary General, together with management of EAC, continue engaging partner states and development partners with a view to increase the contributions made to the EAC so as to implement the planned activities for the achievement of its strategic objectives. 2.4.3 Execution of approved budget. A. Unimplemented activities. The Audit Commission reported that during the audit review, it noted that a review of the entity's approved work plans and budgets revealed that the entity had an approved budget of $51 million, out of which $31 million was committed and spent on activities funded by both partner states and development partners. This resulted into an overall performance of 60%. The variance of 20,613,136, representing 40% of the budget, was not received from partner states and development partners. However, due to budget funding constraints, Audit Commission noted that 30 key activities planned to be financed by partner states contributions were either partially or non-implemented at all. These activities included the following: Council of Ministers, Sectoral Council and Audit and Risk Committee meetings, maintenance of the EAC headquarters, annual conference on fiscal management, M&E emissions, international benchmarking visits on governance, and international benchmarking visits on governance. When the committee interacted with the management of the EAC, it revealed that it awaits the finalization of the sustainable funding mechanism framework from the Sectoral Council of Ministers of Finance and Economic Affairs in order to align the growth of the EAC organs and institutions to the available financial resources. Therefore, to implement activities was largely due to the funding limitations from unremitted funds. Committee observation: partial or non-implementation of planned activities may negatively affect the integration process of the community. The committee recommends to the Assembly to urge the Council of Ministers to ensure that the Secretary General seeks and fast-track the sustainable alternative financing to support its integration agenda. The Secretary should also undertake regular reviews to realign the budget activities. Lack of clear policy on arrears paid. The Audit Commission reported that during the audit review, it noted there was no clear policy in place to clear arrears paid to the EAC. Whereas some institutions and organs use the last in, first out LIFO system, others use the first in, first out to clear the arrears paid. The variation in approaches by institutions and organs was attributed to a lack of clear policy in EAC to guide the treatment of arrears paid by partner states, contrary to Regulation 23(1) and 5 of the EAC Financial Rules and Regulations 2012. When the committee interacted with management of the EAC, it agreed to create a policy to streamline settlement of arrears from disbursements received that should be uniformly applied across the EAC. It further agreed to forward the audit recommendation to the Council of Ministers for a policy direction. Absence of a clear policy to treat arrears from partner states' contribution leads to arbitrary approach among the institutions and organs of the EAC. This could lead to distorted financial reporting. The committee recommends to the Assembly to urge the Council of Ministers to ensure that the Secretary General establishes a clear policy to streamline treatment of arrears paid, which should be uniformly applied across the EAC. Inadequacies in planning and budget process. The Audit Commission reported that during the audit review, it noted the review of the budget and work plans for the EAC for the year under review and work plans presented lacked key content such as performance activity indicators and measurable expected outcomes. Audit further noted that in some cases, management had described the activity outcomes in generic ways, such as to print and distribute EAC integration publications, treaty protocols, and occasional publications to stakeholders as the activity, and the expected outcomes described as increased public awareness and popular participation of all stakeholders in the integration process. It noted that in some cases, the planning and user departments did not quantify the number of EAC integration publications that were to be printed and subsequently distributed in the partner states to enable measurement of performance during the monitoring. When the committee interacted with management of the EAC, it reported that it had been undertaking training programs in order to equip various focal officers in preparation of the community's annual operational plans. It further revealed that the Director of Planning, in coordination with the Budget Department, has scheduled an internal workshop to validate the draft annual operational plan and budget for the financial year 2020-2021 before the same are submitted to the EAC Planning and Budget Committee for scrutiny and rationalization. Failure to quantify outputs and deliverables for planned activities by planning department and budget holders renders it difficult to effectively measure outcomes and monitor performance of the EAC. This is likely to affect budget approval processes since there will be no clear and effective accountability mechanisms when the funds are appropriated to implementation of the various activities. The committee recommends to the Assembly to urge the Council of Ministers to ensure that the Secretary General ensure that all planned activities are specific with quantified outputs and outcomes to ease measurement and budget monitoring. Review of the EAC mandate, unimplemented council directives. The Audit Commission reported that according to Article 14, paragraph 1, 2, 3, AC, D, and 5 of the treaty for the establishment of the East Africa Community in 1999 as amended, the functions of the council are: the council shall be the policy organ of the community. The council shall promote, monitor, and keep under constant review implementation of programs of the community and ensure proper functioning and development of the community in accordance with this treaty. For purposes of paragraph 1 of this article, the council shall A, make policy decisions for the efficient and harmonious functioning and development of the community. Subject to this treaty, give directions to the partner states and to all organs and institutions of the community other than the summit, the court, and the assembly. Make regulations, issue directives, take decisions, and make recommendations and give opinions in accordance with provisions of this treaty. The council shall cause all regulations and directives made or given by it under this treaty to be published in the Gazette, and such regulations or directives shall come into force on the date of publication unless otherwise provided therein. Additionally, Article 16 of the Treaty for the Establishment of the South African Community as amended states that subject to provisions of this treaty, the regulations, directives, and decisions of council taken or given in pursuance to provisions of this treaty shall be binding on partner states, on all organs and institutions of the community, other than the summit, the court, and the assembly within their jurisdictions, and on those to whom they may under this treaty be addressed. When the Commission reviewed the Council directives and decisions issued on since 2016 to date, it noted the following: out of 77 directives issued by the 30th Extraordinary Council of Ministers, 30% of the directives and decisions are not yet implemented, 36% are still ongoing, 8% fully implemented, and 26% are continuous. Additionally, out of the 30% decisions and directives not implemented, 22 were issued to the Secretariat and its organs for implementation. Further, Audit Commission noted that a total of 946 council decisions and directives have been issued to partner states, EAC organs and institutions from 2016 to date. That is from the 34th to 38th Council of Ministers meetings. We noted that 23%, 213 of these are still outstanding and not implemented. 38% of the directives and decisions had been implemented fully, and implementation of 238 directives are ongoing, and 140 directives are continuously being implemented. When the committee interacted with the management of EAC, it reported that the non-implementation of council directives was due to the following reasons: outstanding decisions and directives which are outstanding due to budget constraints, new developments at partner state level which affect decisions already made and directives issued by council, partner states diverging country positions that passively or actively interfere with the implementation process, decision and directives which are superseded by laws and regulations and other priorities, lack of prioritization of council decisions and directives at partner state level when developing annual budgets, and clear sequencing of roles of different implementers of decisions and directives, especially in cases where there is a joint responsibility between the EAC Secretariat and partner states, decisions and directives without timeframes, and the staffing of the planning department, lengthy and varying notification process of protocols and acts in partner states, slow down the pace of implementation of decisions and directives, and lengthy consultative processes at the partner states. Failure to implement the council decision by partner states and the EAC organs and institutions is likely to delay the integration process of the EAC. Most recommendations do not have timeframes, and this affects implementation. The committee recommendations. The committee recommends to the Assembly to urge the Council of Ministers to 1, ensure that the Secretary General follows up all Council decisions and directives with the partner states and the EAC organs and institutions with a view of fast-tracking the implementation of each decision and directive. As earlier recommended, there is an urgent need to fill vacant positions such as that of planning department, such that the planning department is equipped with the necessary personnel to follow up on council and assembly decisions and recommendations. The Secretary General specify officers with the responsibility of following up on status of implementation of the council assembly directives and establish a specific sectoral committee for following up and implementing the assembly and council directives. Review of progress of implementation of the 4 pillars of integration of the EAC. Article 2, paragraph 1 of the Treaty of the Establishment of the East African Community, as amended, states that by treaty, the contracting parties establish among themselves an East African community, herein referred to as a community. Pursuant to Article 5.2 of the treaty, partner states undertook to establish a customs union amongst themselves, a common market, subsequently a monetary union, and ultimately a political federation. The aim is to strengthen and regulate the industrial and commercial infrastructure, cultural and social, political, and other relations of the partner states. It is envisioned that ultimately there shall be accelerated, harmonious, and balanced development and sustainable expansion of economic activity. Audit Commission reviewed progress of implementation of the 4 pillars of the integration of the EAC community and as detailed below. Customs Union implementation. In line with Articles 2 and 5 of the EAC Treaty as amended, the protocol for the establishment of the Customs Union was signed in November 2004, and it was launched in 2005. Following a 5-year transitional period, the Customs Union became fully operational in 2010. The principal objective of the Customs Union is to deepen the integration process through liberalization and promotion of interregional trade, promotion of efficiency in production in response to interregional competition among business, enhancement of domestic, cross-border and foreign investment, as well as promotion of industrial diversification with a view to enhancing economic development. The Customs Union has 4 major elements. Establishment of a common external tariff, establishment of the EAC rules of origin, criteria including certificates of origin and simplified certificates of origin, internal elimination of tariffs for goods meeting the EAC rules of origin criteria, and elimination of non-tariff barriers. Audit Commission reported that upon review of this milestone, it established that there are still tasks that need to be completed, and this include the following. Finalization of review of the EAC Common External Tariff and the EAC Custom Management Act, development of the centralized ICT platform to support the operationalization of the single customs territory, extension of the electronic cargo tracking system to the central corridor, rollout of exports and a single customs territory along the central corridor, undertaking an interconnectivity study to assess the current setup of existing ICT systems to guide the information exchange, development of the EAC regional bond as an alternative to the RCTG, development of the regulations and policy framework for the assembly scheme in the EAC, improvement of the OSBP infrastructure covering varying aspects which were identified during the assessment, including office buildings, roads and parking yards, cargo verification bays, scanner shed, passenger sheds, targeting booths, warehouse and canopies, ICT networks and hardware, furniture and institutional support to the border agencies. operationalization of the OSBP monitoring and evaluation tool and sustainability strategy, further enhancement of the regional authorized economic operator program, and resolution of pending customs-related non-tariff barriers. Audit noted that a fully fledged customs union has not yet been realized since the signing of the customs union protocol in 2005, majorly due to the following challenges. One, frequent requests for stays of application that undermine the uniformity in application of the CET. Low levels of customs compliance and slow process of developing, enacting and assenting to regional laws. Variance in the pace of implementation of the council decisions by partner states. Continuous reoccurrence of non-tariff barriers arising from administrative and procedural processes. Inadequate resources to develop integrated ICT systems at regional and national levels. The slow implementation of harmonization of domestic taxes. Inadequate capacity at the regional level that hindered the implementation of monitoring and evaluation tools for customs union. Lack of harmonized domestic tax laws and rules of origin are yet to be aligned to the FTA. And the existence of different national customs systems that hinder similar sharing of information and integration of cross-border processes with government agencies. When the committee interacted with the management of the EAC, it reported that the implementation of the customs union is progressive and incremental in nature. Upon establishment of the customs union in 2005, common external tariff, CET, EAC rules of origin, including certificates of origin, simplified certificates of origin were established and internal tariffs were eliminated. Elimination of non-tariff barriers is a continuous process, and mechanisms such as time-bound and program were put in place to monitor the process of elimination by partner states. To further consolidate the customs union, a number of initiatives were put in place, including implementation of the single customs territory that allows clearance of goods from the first point of entry to destination within the partner states. This has further enabled the interconnectivity of customs systems for purposes of enhancing seamless flow information and exchanged among partner states. Operationalization of a regional authorized economic operator has also increased compliance levels of key players in the business supply chain. Management further informed the committee that the Directorate of Customs has taken measures to address the remaining tasks, including but not limited to review of the CET to eliminate days of CET application is in the final stage. Partner states have agreed on a 4-band structure of 0%, 10%, 25%, and a maximum rate of either 30 or 35. This will address, among other issues, the frequent stays of application. It was expected to be finalized in the second half of the financial year 2019-2020. Funds to develop the integrated ICT systems to facilitate sharing of trade and customs information at the regional and national levels were secured from development partners. A regional authorized economic operator scheme to increase compliance levels of key players in business supply chain was enhanced. The Directorate intended to increase the number of operators from the current 115 to 500 in the next 3 years. Management further reported that efforts were made to ensure that the draft regional laws are enacted and assented by the relevant organs. Management further reported that the Director of Customs is following up with partner states on implementations of delayed council decisions and minimization of customs-related non-tariff barriers. The process of harmonization of domestic taxes is ongoing through engagement of various stakeholders involved in tax policy, and negotiations on rules of origin for tripartite FTA and African Continental Free Trade Area are ongoing to cater for harmonization. The committee recommends to the Assembly to urge the Council of Ministers to ensure that the Secretary General follows up on the conclusion of the remaining tasks and fast-tracks engagements with all the stakeholders with the view of resolving challenges hindering implementation of fully fledged customs union. the common market implementation. The protocol for the establishment of the East Africa Community Common Market was signed in 2009 and became operational in July 2010, in line with Articles 2 and 5 of the EAC Treaty 1999 as amended in 2006 and 2007. In accordance with Article 2.4 of the Common Market Protocol, EAC is required to achieve, among others, free movement of labor, services, capital, and including but not limited to the right of establishment. The strategic objective of the Common Market Protocol is to create one flawless single market across EAC partner states. The protocol seeks to accelerate regional economic growth and development by introducing the free movement of goods, persons and labor, capital and services, as well as the rights of establishment and residence. It is also expected that the protocol will strengthen, coordinate, and regulate economic and trade relations among the partner states. During most of the planning period, 2011, 2012, through to 2015-16, partner states amended their respective national policies, laws, and regulations to conform to the Common Market Protocol. Furthermore, according to the Common Market Scorecard for 2016, the EAC partner states implemented significant reforms in free movement of capital, goods, and services. In the case of free movement of goods, non-tariff barriers have been eliminated between 2014 to 2016. With respect to free movement of capital, 3 partner states, namely Kenya, Tanzania, and Uganda, undertook a total of 11 reforms between 2014 and 2016, including measures that enhance the regional security capacities by adding a framework for trading in derivatives in Kenya and in Uganda. The Audit Commission reported that further review of the implementation of the Common Market Protocol revealed that since the signing of the Common Market Protocol in 2009, a number of activities have remained outstanding, especially with the coming on board of new member states to the EAC. Article 12.2 of the Common Market Protocol requires the EAC to coordinate and harmonize the existing national social security laws of the EAC member states to enhance free movement of labor. However, Audit Commission noted that the EAC has not yet achieved the full harmonization of national social security legislation across the East Africa region, since EAC partner states still operate under different social security laws and accord different social security treatment to their nationals. Secondly, Article 11 of the Common Market Protocol also provides that the partner states undertake to mutually recognize the academic and professional qualifications granted, experience obtained, requirements met, licenses, or certifications granted in other partner states. However, Audit Commission findings do indicate that the legal instrument that is supposed to effect the mutual recognition of both academic and professional qualifications of skilled laborers of the East African regional level is not yet considered by partner states. Thus, the instrument has neither been discussed by the EAC Council of Ministers nor approved by the EAC Summit. Furthermore, the EAC is yet to fully realize the free movement of capital across partner states. Audit observed that whereas restrictions on the free movement of capital have been curtailed in most EAC member states, the new EAC member states such as South Sudan is yet to embrace the free movement of capital. Audit also noted that in relation to the right of establishment, the EAC is yet to harmonize the investment laws in consultation with its member states to promote the full enjoyment of the right. A number of activities under the EAC trade in services are yet to be completed, such as finalization and adoption of the revised Common Market Protocol, regulations on the free movement of services and service suppliers, development of a mechanism for the removal of restrictions on trade services in the EAC development of the EAC strategy on trade services, African Continental Free Trade Area Protocol on trade in services, development of an EAC trade in services statistical reporting mechanism, tripartite, that is COMESA, EAC, SADC Free Trade Area Protocol on trade in services, capacity building on trade in services and negotiations in the 5 remaining sectors of construction, environmental, health, and recreational services. When the committee interacted with management of the EAC, it was reported that it is conducting a formative evaluation of the EAC Common Market Protocol to assess the extent of implementation of the EACCMP and achievement of the targeted results at the end of the 8th year of implementation. Upon the assessment report being finalized, the council will be requested to issue additional directives to enhance the implementation of the protocol. The committee recommends the Assembly to urge the Council of Ministers to ensure that management of EAC follows up on the activities that have not yet been implemented and devise strategies on how to fast track the pending activities under the Common Market Protocol such that the Council can issue enhanced directives on the fast tracking the protocol's full implementation to benefit East Africans. Implementation of the monetary union. I'm now on page 43. The protocol for the establishment of the East African Monetary Union was signed by the EAC heads of state in November 2013 and entered into force in 2014. The objective of the monetary union is that articulated in the EAC Treaty Article 5 as intrinsic to the objective of widening and deepening cooperation among the partner states. Articles 82 and 83 set out the scope of cooperation and the stages of harmonization leading to the monetary union. It is stated that in Article 3, to promote and maintain monetary and financial stability aimed at facilitating financial integration to attain sustainable growth and development of the community. The EAME protocol covers the entire financial sector, including banking, insurance, capital markets, and the pension sector. To attain and maintain macroeconomic convergence, the protocol provides a set of primary and secondary performance convergence criteria to be met by 2021. To enable the introduction of a single currency and thus full operation of the monetary union in 2024. It is hoped that prior to entering the single currency in 2024, at least 3 partner states should have achieved and maintained the set performance convergence criteria for at least 3 consecutive years. Specifically, the protocol requires that each partner state to develop a medium-term convergence program, MTCP, to facilitate attainment of the agreed criteria, taking into account each country's economic circumstances. The other key prerequisites for entry into the monetary union, other than attainment of the agreed macroeconomic convergence criteria, include full implementation of the customs union and common market protocols to ensure that sufficient trade and integration and openness, labor mobility, capital mobility, and exchange rate flexibility in order to make it possible to respond to economic shocks. The institutional framework to monitor and enforce convergence includes the establishment of the East African Monetary Institute as a precursor to Surveillance and Compliance and Enforcement Commission. As a precursor to the East Africa Central Bank, the East Africa Statistics Bureau, and the East African Surveillance, Compliance and Enforcement Commission. The mission of the EAMI is to put in place the organizational, regulatory, and logistical conditions for the conduct of a single monetary and exchange rate policy and related central banking functions in the EAMU. Substantial progress was registered in terms of partner states' currency convertibility, harmonization of fiscal, monetary, and exchange policies, banking rules and regulations, as well as trading practices and regulations in the stock exchanges and financial markets in general. However, during the audit review, the Audit Commission noted the following. The Monetary Institute is not in place approximately 4 years after signing of the Monetary Union Protocol, which has contributed to the delay in the activation of the common regional currency. Furthermore, the East Africa Surveillance, Compliance and Enforcement Commission, East African Financial Services Commission, East African Bureau of Statistics was supposed to be established by 2018, but have been delayed. And there's a table there on page 44 that just captures the purpose of each of those institutions. Audit Commission further found out that 4 monetary union institution bills are pending. 2 of the bills are yet to be assented to by heads of state, and 2 other bills are being reviewed by the Sectoral Council on Legal and Judicial Affairs. And that's indicated in the table below the page 45. When the committee interacted with the management of the EAC, it concurred with the Audit Commission that the establishment of the 4 EAMU institutions has been delayed and undertook to fast-track the assent processes for all past bills as well as other prerequisites for the EMU so as to enable establishment of the East African Monetary Union institutions in good time. Although the committee applauds the management's efforts towards achieving the East African Monetary Union, it notes that the delays caused by the lengthy process of decision-making at the community, such as the infrequent meetings by the responsible sectoral councils to provide guidance to the important policy and legal documents such as the EMU bills and financial constraints have been a major hindrance towards operationalization of the Monetary Institute. The committee recommends to the Assembly toward the Council of Ministers to fast-track the assent process for all monetary union institutions bills so as to enable the establishment of the monetary union institutions. There is need to have a deliberate effort to resolve the attendant associated challenges. We'll now move to the political federation implementation. The principle underpinning the EC political integration includes harmonization and coordination of the regional policy frameworks with regard to good governance, democracy, peace and security, defense, human rights, social justice, and international relations. Cooperation on political matters is provided for by the EAC Treaty Articles 123, 124, and 125, while Article 123 on political affairs calls for the EAC partner states to define and implement common foreign and security policies. Article 124 on the regional peace and security urges partner states, among other prerequisites, to foster and maintain an atmosphere that is conducive to peace and security through cooperation and consultations on issues pertaining to peace and security of partner states. Further, Article 125 on defense urges partner states to closely cooperate in defense affairs by establishing a framework for cooperation. Under the 4th EAC development strategy, one of the development objectives was to lay the foundation for the EAC political federation and promotion of the regional peace and security and development of institutions for political federations were identified and key milestones for achieving a political federation. More specifically, in the wake of promoting regional peace and security and cooperation in defense affairs, a number of milestones were envisioned to include: 1, the establishment of an enabling legal and institutional framework; 2, the implementation of the Continental Africa Peace and Security Architecture, pillars that encompass development and implementation of conflict prevention, management and resolution framework, coordination and strengthening of disaster management, and the implementation of small arms and light weapons control programs. Other milestones include strengthening of joint measures to combat terrorism, development of a framework for intelligence sharing and crime management, development of a framework for cooperation and harmonization of policing practices in the EAC, and the harmonization of the IDP and refugee management practices across the region. Further envisioned were 9, development and implementation of a multi-regional maritime safety and security initiative; 10, the development of a framework for cooperation in prisons and correctional services; and 11, implementation of a joint measures to combat cattle rustling. A number of achievements have been made, such as the creation of the EAC program on good governance to serve as a platform for national institutions of governance to exchange information, share experiences and dialogue on policy, strategies, laws and programs with a view to developing regional standards. The Council established the EAC Forum of National Human Rights Institutions. The EAC Forum of Electoral Commissions was established. The sector developed the principles on election observation and evaluation that is used to guide election observation in the region and promote credibility of electoral processes and outcomes. Established establishment of the EAC Forum of Chief Justice to contribute to policy formulation in upholding the rule of law. However, the Audit Commission noted a number of challenges facing the implementation of the EAC political federation as detailed below. Absence of realization timelines for the political federation. The EAC Treaty as amended provides for the political federation as one of the EAC pillars. Audit observed that the community has no set timelines for achieving the political federation. Further, it was established that the EAC summit had adopted the idea of pursuing a political confederation as a means to the political federation. However, the EAC had not also set the target timelines within which the political confederation was supposed to be realized by the community. When the committee met with management of the EAC, it was informed that the attainment of the political federation is a gradual and natural process that requires building of trust among members of the community and setting up institutions upon which the federation can sustainably function. Whilst the treaty does not set the timeline for realization of the political federation, the summit, through the process of fast-tracking the political federation, has come to realize that not enough trust had been built among members to transit from an intergovernmental organization to a full EAC political federation. As part of the strategy to continuously enhance trust and build institutions, the 18th Summit of EAC Heads of State adopted a political confederation as a means to and not an end to the federation dream. The Council and Summit adopted a roadmap for the completion of the Constitution for the Confederation, which was initially set for 2024. The process beyond the adoption of the Constitution will be determined by provisions of the Constitution itself. The Summit initiated strategy to fast-track the constitution-making process to see it accomplished earlier than the timeline set by the roadmap. Consequently, the experts drafting the Constitution envisioned having a proposed EAC Confederation model by the end of 2019, thereby proceeding with drafting and completing the Constitution by mid-2020. However, budgetary constraints in the committee has hampered the realization of the set timelines for achievement of the milestones for the Confederation. When the committee interacted with the management of the EAC, it concurred with the Audit Commission on the slow progress of achieving the stated timelines for political confederation due to financing challenges and changes in meeting dates. Under the circumstances, the EAC seems not to be working towards a specified delivery timeline for both the political confederation and the political federation. Failure to set timelines for political confederation and political federation is likely to delay the attainment of set pillars. The committee recommends to the Assembly to urge Council of Ministers to recommend the EAC Summit to set a realistic timelines for the realization of both political confederation and political federation. Absence of an approved confederation constitution. Whereas the constitution is meant to guide the implementation and regulation of the confederation process, the Audit Commission established that the EAC has no approved confederation constitution. A review of the EAC roadmap for development and adoption of the EAC political federation revealed that the draft confederation constitution will be finalized by November 2020. When the committee interacted with the management of the EAC, it reported that due to the apparent delays in the constitution drafting process, the 20th Summit in February 2019 directed the Council to cause the constitutional experts to produce a preliminary report on the same in 7 months from then. Consequently, the experts drew a new timeline which envisioned having a proposed EAC confederation model by the end of 2019 and proceeded with drafting and completing the constitution by mid-2020. A major component of the constitution-making process, the stakeholder consultations, has since not commenced as a result of the insufficient budget allocation. The 39th meeting of the Sectoral Council of Ministers responsible for EAC affairs and planning in October 2019 directed that the Secretary to develop a comprehensive costed proposal on how to undertake the constitution-making process and a budgetary strategy to be considered by the 30th Council of Ministers in November 2019. The draft comprehensive costed proposal is ready for Council consideration in November 2019. The committee observed that the process for drafting the constitution is well behind and the EAC may miss the timeline. The committee recommends to the Assembly to urge Council that the constitution for the political confederation should be fast-tracked to ease the implementation of the political federation. Review of internal control environment 2.6.1. Lack of review and update of internal audit and risk committee charters. Audit Commission reported that review of the EAC internal audit charter and the EAC audit and risk charter of October, November 2015 respectively, noted that there was no report or other documentary evidence to show that the charters were reviewed by head of internal audit in consultations with heads of organs and institutions and the audit and risk committee. It was expected that such activity could have been performed either in the third or fourth quarter of the financial year 2018-2019. Alternatively, the activity should have been included in the internal audit plan for 2019-2020, which was not the case. This was contrary to section 13 of the EAC Internal Audit Charter 2015, which obligates the head of internal audit in consultation with heads of organs and institutions and the audit and risk committee to review the charter at least once in every 3 years. When the committee interacted with the management of the EAC, it reported that the expiry of the validity period of the EAC audit and risk committee and the internal audit charters were noted and are currently undergoing review to update and accommodate significant changes which have happened and to include to ensure proper functioning of the internal audit unit and audit and risk committee. The committee was further informed that the charter has been updated to cater for the Republic of South Sudan, which was the last to join the EAC. Lack of review of the charter in relation to the existing operations and structure could affect the effectiveness of internal audit and risk committee. Recommendations. The committee recommends the Assembly to urge the Council of Ministers to ensure that the EAC management ensures a proper review of both EAC internal and internal audit and the EAC audit and risk committee charters are undertaken in order to strengthen the internal control environment at the EAC. 2.6.2 Weaknesses on the EAC audit and risk committee composition. Audit Commission reported that the East African community is currently made up of 6 partner states, with the Republic of South Sudan joining the community on 16th April 2016 and became a full member on the 5th September 2016. However, the current EAC audit and risk committee is made up of only 5 partner states, with the exclusion of the Republic of South Sudan. There is a contradiction between the EAC Financial Rules and Regulations 2012 that requires composition of EAC Audit and Risk Committee to be of only 5 partner states, as opposed to the EAC Audit and Risk Committee Charter 2015 that provides for all of the partner states, currently 6 in number, to compromise the committee. The EAC management concurred with the Audit Commission and undertook to urgently review the charter to include the Republic of South Sudan. Committee observation. The incomplete composition of the EAC Audit and Risk Committee could negatively impact on the effective execution of the committee responsibilities and deny the Republic of South Sudan the opportunity to participate in full membership activities. Madam Speaker, I want to propose that I give the House a break from my voice. Now, I'll call on my colleague to carry on from page 50, Honorable Bide, then I will come back.
Okay, as Honorable Mbide makes his way, honorable members, when you look at the clock, it's almost 5 o'clock.
Yes.
And we have training which begins at 5. So we could probably give Honorable Mbide like 30 minutes to read, and then we'll commence from there maybe tomorrow, as also members use the night to read through the report and prepare for debate. Honorable Mbide, I request that you come to the podium. People want to see your face as well.
So page 50 was completed. On committee recommendations. The committee recommends to the Assembly to urge the Council of Ministers to recommend to the ESC management to ensure that ESC Audit and Risk Committee is fully constituted as per the ESC Audit and Risk Committee Charter, and amend the East African Community Financial Rules and Regulations 2012 to include all members of partner states. 263, lack of review of the ESC Financial Procedures Manual 2013. The Audit Commission reported that review of the existing ESC Financial Procedures Manual with the effective date of 1st September 2013 noted that there was no evidence that the ESC Secretariat had performed both the annual reviews and the comprehensive reviews every 2 years. Ideally, at least 5 annual reviews and 2 comprehensive reviews should have been done since inception of the ESC Financial Procedure Manual 2013. This is a message to assess and update the practices and procedures to ensure relevance to the prevailing operations. When the committee interacted with the management of ESC, it reported that the management has since made reviews and the Secretary General has referred the inputs to the Office of the Council of the Community for scrutiny and report back to Secretary General. It is yet to report back. Committee's observation. Procedures could be outdated and not relevant to the changing technology, operations, staffing structure, and decisions made by management and council. Committee recommendation. The committee recommends to the Assembly to urge the Council of Ministers to direct the ESC management to 1, ensure that financial procedure manual is regularly reviewed and updated as stipulated in the manual to avoid the risk of maintaining outdated operational procedures. The Secretariat should also establish a checklist that will be used to ensure annual reviews and comprehensive reviews are well documented. And 2, prevail upon the Office of the Council of the Community to expedite the reviews such that the process is concluded. 264, lack of monthly and quarterly management reports. The Audit Commission reported that review of management responsibilities and compliance with ESC Financial Rules and Regulations 2012 and ESC Financial Procedures Manual 2013 revealed that there was no evidence that the heads of organs and institutions prepared the monthly financial reports and submitted them to the Director of Finance for further consolidation and submission to the Deputy Secretary General. Further, there was no evidence that the Deputy Secretary General consolidated the quarterly financial reports and submitted them to the Secretary General before the 2nd week of the following month. This contrary Regulation 35 of the ESC Financial Rules and Regulations 2012. When the committee interacted with the management of ESC, it reported that ESC does not have an integrated management financial system to integrate the reports. Committee observation. There is a risk that the ESC may fail to effectively monitor and evaluate financial performance on regular basis, which may negatively affect reporting of ESC performance to the appropriate organs. Committee recommendation. The committee recommends to the Assembly to urge the Council of Ministers to 1, ensure that all heads of organs and institutions comply with the regulation by submitting monthly and quarterly reports to Director of Finance to facilitate timely and informed decision-making by the appropriate organs and institutions. 2, to ensure that funds are secured to procure the software for developing and standardizing all ESC and entities reports as required by the procedures manual.
2.7, fixed asset management. The Audit Commission reported that a review of the asset management of the community indicated the following: weaknesses in asset management, section 8.142 (brackets and B) of the ESC Finance Policy and Procedures Manual 2013 states that 1, all acquired fixed assets must be received through an asset receiving form Appendix 20A to be administered by the qualified receiver on behalf of the community. B, after certification of the condition and documentation of assets, the store's assistant will issue a goods received note, GRN. C, the asset must be recorded in a manual asset register or listing of assets with the following details: a description of the asset, i.e. name, etc., manufacturer's serial number and model number, source of the property, including grant and or agreement number, acquisition's date and cost, assets identification number by classification of asset, the expected useful life and depreciation rate, located use, and the latest condition of the asset. Further, Regulation 97.3 of the ESC Financial Rules and Regulations 2012 provides that assets shall not be allocated or assigned before they are engraved with the identification code. Relatedly, Regulations 98.1 and 2 of the ESC Financial Rules and Regulations 2012 states that 1, all property, plant, and equipment of estimated value of $250 and above shall be capitalized in the books of accounts of the community. 2, the Director of Human Resource and Administration shall maintain complete and accurate records of property, plant, equipment, and stores supplies of the community, or the store's equipment or property which is received, issued, sold, or otherwise disposed of. During review, fixed assets of the ESC Audit Commission noted the following: 1, incomplete asset register. A review of the assets register revealed that the register did not have a unique asset identification, such as chassis number for motor vehicles, serial numbers for computer equipment, and office equipment listed against the said asset in the register. B, redundant software for management of assets register. A physical verification of the assets register revealed that under code SCIA SW101 is the Pantena audit software acquired in November 2015. However, a review of the system logs revealed that last usage was in the year 2015, while a review of the Board of Survey report revealed that assets that did not exist but were still recognized in the asset register. When the committee interacted with the management of ESC, it reported that ESC abolished the position of the estates officer, and this has caused challenges in following up the registration and management of ESC estates. The staff in the finance department are too few to ensure a complete record and management of the asset register. Committee observation. The committee observes that an asset register needed to be put in place. The committee recommends to the Assembly to urge the Council of Ministers to direct the Secretary General to make sure that all assets of the community are tagged with a unique identification number as a safeguard against misappropriation. Furthermore, the committee urges the Council to reinstate the abolished position of the estates officer, such that the community has a fully dedicated estates officer to manage and follow up the assets inventory of the ESC. 271, failure to recover diplomatic vehicle number plates. The Audit Commission reported that a review of the diplomatic motor vehicle registration plates issued by ESC reveals that a total of 184 plates issued to former employees and their beneficiaries had not been surrendered back to the community, even though the said staff had separated from service of the community, some as far back as over 10 years ago. This is against Regulation 94 of the ESC Staff Rules and Regulations 206, which guides that separation from service a member of staff may be by expiration of appointment, resignation, normal retirement, abandonment of duty, death, termination, and dismission. When the committee interacted with the management of ESC, it reported that as stipulated in the protocol on immunities and privileges of the East African community, its organs and institutions, the community and its authorized staff are able to buy duty-free vehicles. On separation from service, a mechanism is in place to retain part of their terminal benefits of $5,000 until they deregister the vehicles in the host country and re-register them in their home countries and then return the ESC number plates. This practice has been in place since 2014, and a marked improvement has been seen in the return of the number plates. However, by the time the practice was put in place, a number of separating staff had already left the number plates. Management, however, takes note of the weaknesses in this control and will endeavor to liaise with authorities in the East African countries to continue repatriating the numbers in the hands of staff no longer privileged to have them. Specifically, management is in touch with the government of the United Republic of Tanzania, who are supporting the compilation of all the staff and members who are not in ESC service for them to apprehend vehicles with plate numbers that are not in our database. Committee observation. There is absence of a legal framework to govern the use and return of the diplomatic number plates. The committee recommendation is that the committee recommends the Assembly to urge the Council of Ministers to initiate a policy legal framework that will govern the use and return of the diplomatic number plates. But, Mr. Speaker, I have not timed myself pursuant to the 30 minutes. I will be guided.
20 minutes left. I'll remind you.
Much obliged, Mr. Speaker. 2.8, Human Resource Management. 2.81, delayed resolution of staff disciplinary case. The Audit Commission reported that a review of staff payroll indicated that a number of 406 had been 0406 had been suspended as from 8/10/2018 with full pay for non-compliance to ESC financial rules and regulations. However, audit noted that the case has not been resolved after 12 months, contrary to Regulation 91, 1 and 4, Subregulations 1 and 4 of the ESC staff rules and regulations 2012 on suspension, termination, and dismissal. When the committee interacted with the management of ESC, it reported that the Council of Ministers meetings held in Arusha, Tanzania, from 6 to 10th May 2019, considered the matter under investigation and directed the ESC Secretariat to expedite the process of investigations in accordance with the ESC staff rules and regulations 206. Management further reported that the process of resolving the cases is ongoing and will be completed as directed by Council of Ministers meetings. Committee observation. 1. Most recruitments at ESC have been crowded with a lot of mistrust, unfairness, and lack of transparency. 2. Delay in resolution of staff disciplinary cases could expose the ESC to litigation as the time frame within which to resolve the case has been exceeded. 3. The concerned staff is on suspension with the full pay of US dollars 48,620 and annually without any service rendered. This is costly to the Secretariat as a result of lengthy delays in the resolution of the case. 4. The committee notes that some ESC staff are undisciplined, partially because of the protection they are given by their respective partner states. This has created an atmosphere of impunity. Committee recommendation. The committee recommends to the Assembly to urge the Council of Ministers to direct the ESC management to 1. Expedite the resolution of the case by following the stipulated process detailed in the regulations. 2. The committee further advises the Assembly to expedite the integrity and anti-corruption bill to ensure that it strengthens the staff discipline and conduct. 283, review of activities of ad hoc ESC Service Commission. The Audit Commission reported that according to Resolution 37 of the ESC Staff Rules and Resolution 2006 provides for the Human Resource Advisory Committee. There is hereby established a Human Resource Advisory Committee which shall comprise the following. A. The Deputy Secretary General of Finance and Administration, Chairperson. B. The Registrar, Member. C. The Clerk, Member. D. Director General Customs and Trade, Member. And E. Head Human Resource Division, Secretary. And any other technical member as may be co-opted by the Secretary General. 2. The functions of the Human Resource Advisory Committee are to give advice to the Secretary General in respect of confirmation in appointment, renewal of employment contracts, staff complaints, staff performance, evaluation, staff performance decision, staff discipline, recommendation for staff training, and any other staff-related matters. According to Regulation 845 of ESC Staff Rules and Regulations 206, the community shall ensure transparency, justice, and fair play in the effective implementation of the personnel policies. The Human Resource Advisory Committee shall be established to advise the Secretary General on matters relating to human resource management, and more specifically, appointments, performance, management, discipline, and handling of complaints. During the 30th meeting of Council of Ministers 2014, the ESC Ad Hoc Service Commission was established. The ESC Ad Hoc Service Commission was established to work on a part-time basis to, among other things, oversee the recruitment of staff to the community, carry out a workload analysis and job evaluation exercise of the ESC Secretariat, organs and institutions, and report to the Council of Ministers. During the year under review, the Audit Commission noted the following. 1, the Ad Hoc Service Commission had delayed to complete the task of carrying out workload analysis, job evaluation exercise, and failed to deliver the report as scheduled during the 37th meeting of the Council of Ministers meeting held from the 2nd to the 8th May of 2018 in Arusha. 2, additionally, the 37th meeting of the Council of Ministers directed the Ad Hoc Service Commission to submit a complete report on the workload analysis and job evaluation exercise, including the East African Legislative Assembly, at the 38th meeting of the Council of Ministers EAC/EX/CM/37 Directive 21, but this was not done at the 38th extraordinary meeting of Council of Ministers held on 30th January. Management explains that the report of the Ad Hoc Service Commission was tabled at the 38th ordinary meeting of Council of Ministers held from 6th to 10th May 2019, but was deferred to a dedicated session of ministers. Audit further observed that due to the delays in implementation of tasks assigned to it, including a task to carry out workload analysis and job evaluation of the ESC Secretariat and Eala, the Commission incurred a total expenditure of $517,731 in 2 financial years from 2017-2018 to 2018-2019. It was further evident, as pointed out by the Audit Commission, that the Ad Hoc Service Commission's role was a duplication of similar tasks that are supposed to be performed by the Human Resource Advisory Committee as provided for under Regulation 37 and 84(5) of the ESC Staff Rules and Regulations 2006. The committee was set up to advise the Secretary General on matters relating to human resource management and more specifically in regard to appointments, performance management, discipline, recommendation for staff training, and any other staff-related matters, which tasks are supposed to be performed by established structures. This is contrary to Regulation 19 of the ESC Staff Rules and Regulations 206, which provides that the Secretary General shall, if necessary, undertake a review of the organization structure and staffing requirements of the community and make recommendations to Council for approval. When the committee interacted with the management of ESC, it reported that the Ad Hoc ESC Service Commission is different from Human Resources Advisory Committee. The Human Resource Advisory Committee is an advisory body to the Secretary General, while the ESC Ad Hoc Committee is an advisory body of Council. The HRIAC draws its mandate from Regulation 37 of the Staff Rules, while the Ad Hoc ESC Commission was established by Council during the 30th meeting of the Council of Ministers held in Nairobi, Kenya, from 20th to 28th November 2014, with a concept note which gives the Commission a mandate to conduct recruitment of the staff of the community and the consideration of other matters referred to it by the Council of Ministers from time to time. The 35th meeting of the Council held in April 2017 approved the terms of reference for the workload analysis and job evaluation exercise and tasked the ESC Ad Hoc Service Commission to undertake the exercise. Much as the exercise took long to complete, the Ad Hoc Service Commission abided by the decisions of the Council. The first meeting of experts of partner states was convened from the 5th to the 22nd March 2018 in Arusha, Tanzania. The progress report was submitted to the 37th meeting of the Council of Ministers held from 2nd to 8th May 2018 as directed. The Council took note of the progress and approved the new roadmap to complete the workload analysis and job evaluation exercise and directed the Ad Hoc ESC Service Commission to report progress to the 38th meeting of the Council. During the 38th meeting of the Council of Ministers held from 6th to 10th May 2019 in the Arusha, Tanzania, the Ad Hoc ESC Service Commission presented the report on workload analysis and job evaluation exercise. The Council decided to defer the consideration of the report to the dedicated session of ministers. Therefore, there was no delay because the Ad Hoc ESC Service Commission complied with the directive of that 7th meeting of the Council of Ministers. Committee observation. Delays to implement directives and decisions of the Council of Ministers lead to increased costs to the community. Additionally, creation of an ad hoc service commission may lead to duplication of roles, which would weaken the already established structures of the EAC. Committee recommendation. The committee recommends to the Assembly to urge the Council of Ministers to direct the Ad hoc Service Commission to ensure assigned tasks are always completed expeditiously so as to avoid the cost overruns on budgeted activities. The Secretariat is further directed to avoid duplication of work and the costs arising from establishing parallel structure. 283. Staffing gaps in key areas of operations of PSC. According to Regulation 84.5, committee observation. Oh, that one I had already concluded. It is committee recommendation. The committee recommends to the Assembly to urge the Council of Ministers to direct the Ad hoc Service Commission to ensure assigned tasks are always completed expeditiously so as to avoid cost overruns on budgeted activities. The Secretariat is further directed to avoid the duplication of work and the costs arising from establishing parallel structures. 283. Staffing gaps in key areas of operations of EAC. According to Regulation 84.5 of the EAC Staff Rules and Regulation 206, the committee shall ensure transparency, justice, and fair play in the effective implementation of personnel policies. The Human Resource Advisory Committee shall be established to advise the Secretary General on matters relating to human resource management and more specifically to appointments, performance management, discipline, and handling of complaints. During the 36th meeting of the Council of Ministers held in Kampala, Uganda on the 20th February 2018, the Council of Ministers directed that the Secretariat should continue to replace vacant positions. However, new positions should await the completion of the job evaluation and workload analysis exercise, EAC/CM 36 Directive 81. During review of staffing structure of the EAC Secretariat during the year under review, we noted the following. In a letter dated 17th October 2018 to the chairperson of the Council of Ministers, the chairperson of Ad hoc Service Commission requested the Council of Ministers to halt the implementation of Directive 81 to the Secretary General made during the 36th meeting of the Council of Ministers that had directed the Secretary General to continue to replace the vacant positions. The Ad hoc Service Commission argued that the exercise of job evaluation and workload analysis may affect the vacant positions, as some of the positions may be abolished, merged, or downgraded. Audit Commission further noted delays to replace vacant positions, and this is severely affecting the operations of the Secretariat due to staffing shortfall. Further analysis of the staffing positions at the Secretariat revealed that various critical positions are vacant and have not been filled in most areas such as administration, monitoring and evaluation, finance, planning, among others, despite having budget allocations. These shortfalls in staffing levels negatively affect operations of the Secretariat. The Audit Commission further reviewed the proposed amended establishment of the Secretariat EAC, GEM, Eala, and institutions by the EAC Ad hoc Service Commission, and noted that the Ad hoc Service Commission had proposed an overall reduction in the staffing establishment across the EAC. Whereas some institutions have been proposed to increase staffing, most have been proposed to reduce staffing level. Although such reduction in staffing is a cost-saving strategy to the community, it may have negative implications on the internal controls due to a reduction of staffing. In internal audit, for instance, problems of segregation of duties in finance department, potential security issues arising from reduction of security staff and other support functions, such as administration, may be severely affected. The cost reduction strategy through staff reduction would require reorganization trainings, redefining job functions and solutions, which, if not properly done, may affect the implementation of the EAC-wide strategy, given that the community has expanded its operations considerably over the years. When the committee interacted with the management of EAC, it reported that the 40th extraordinary meeting approved the new establishment of the EAC organs and institutions. Management agreed with the Audit Commission that the adopted structure did not provide for optional number of staff and sought for review of the adopted structure. It thus appealed. Following the appeal by the Secretary General, the chairperson of the council convened a dedicated session of the Council of Ministers on 29 November 2019 in Arusha, Tanzania, for a review and finalization of the new structure of EAC organs and institutions. There is still no concrete proposal on the adopted structure. Committee observations. Staffing gaps in the approved staff establishment negatively affect the implementation of the budget, undermine activity outputs, and leads to underutilization of resources. Committee recommendation. The committee recommends to the Assembly to urge the Council of Ministers to ensure that the vacant positions are filled, given that there is a budget provision for these positions as to enable the smooth implementation of the ESC strategy. The impact of the proposed changes on the implementation of the ESC-wide strategy arising from proposed amendments in staffing structure should be done through wider consultation with the respective stakeholders. The Ad hoc Service Commission recommendations should be reviewed in light of the appeal by management. 284, weaknesses in implementation of the ESC quota system. The Audit Commission reported that upon review of the ESC quota system, it noted the following anomalies. The Secretariat calculated the total points per grade as 1,586 points and divided by 6 partner states, resulting to 264.3 quota points per partner state. However, calculation of quota points by the Secretary excluded the grades of G4 and G5 contrary to the requirement of Section 3 of the manual. This would have increased the quota points per partner state to 321.05 points. This in turn would bias the application of the quota system. Comparison of the points utilized by each partner state to the quota points of 264.3 for each of the 6 partner states revealed that the quota system of the recruitment of human resources has not yet achieved uniformity as at 30th of June 2019. This was evident by the fact that all the partner states points were varying from each other instead of being equal. Article 6E of the treaty establishing the East African Community 1999 as amended states that the fundamental principles that shall govern the achievement of the objective of the community by the partner states shall include equitable distribution of benefits. This is contrary to the Regulation 28 of ESC staff rules and Regulations 206, which requires that the recruitment of staff of the community shall, as far as possible, be reflective of equal representation of partner states. Audit Commission further noted that it did not observe any monitoring and evaluation mechanism in regard to the implementation of the quota system, contrary to recruitment of Section 6, to requirement under Section 6 of the ESC quota system, Manual 2012. There was no annual report to the Council on the progress and the performance of the quota system by the Secretary as required in Section 6.2 of ESC quota system, Manual 2012. Further, it noted that the Directorate in charge of the Human Resources Management did not submit an annual report to the Secretary General on the progress of the implementation of the quota system within the organs and institutions, contrary to the requirement of Section 6.3 of the ESC quota system, Manual 2012. The ESC management concurred with the Audit Commission and undertook to review the manual. The quota system manual has not been reviewed since it became operational 7 years ago, contrary to the requirement of Section 64 of the quota systems manual 2012 that provides for reviews every 3 years. Committee observation. Failure to achieve the quota system of recruitment in ESC may undermine the fundamental principles of equitable distribution of benefits to the partner states. 2, delays to review the quota system manual affects its application since various changes have taken place from the time of adoption of the manual. 3, the quota system manual has not been reviewed since it became operational 7 years ago, contrary to the requirement of Section 6.4 of the quota system manual 2012 that provides for reviews every 3 years. Committee recommendation. The committee recommends to the Assembly to urge the Council of Ministers to direct the management of ESC to 1, ensure that the quota system is applied on all grades as guided by the manual and directive of Council of Ministers. Ensure that annual reports on the implementation of the quota system are submitted by all human resource departments of institutions and organs to the Secretary General, who shall upgrade the Council of Ministers on the same annually. Ensure that regular updates of the ESC quota system manual are carried out every 3 years to cater for any changes that could have occurred. And 4, ensure that there is social justice while filling the staffing gaps, such that gender balance, youth, persons with disabilities are all represented in the partner states. Partner states with the least represented staff at the ESC organs and institutions should be given particular attention. 285. delays in booking of air tickets. The Audit Commission reported various instances where staff made requests for travel in less than 10 working days. With some instances, bookings made one day to or same date of travel. This is contrary to section 62D of the ESC Staff Rules and Regulations 206 on official travel, which requires that requests for travel must be made 2 weeks. 10
Honorable
working-
Mbide, this should be your last page.
Much obliged, Madam Speaker. In brackets, 10 working days. The management undertook collective action. Committee observation: 1, delay to book for travels leads to increased costs of air tickets, which negatively affect the community's budget implementation. 2, there may be cartels and monopolies dealings with preferences being extended to sole travel agents who manipulate to sell ESC expensive tickets like Uganda Travel Bill. Committee recommendation. The committee recommends to the Assembly to urge all Council of Ministers to direct the management of ESC. 1, ensure this policy is strictly implemented to reduce costs of air travel that arise out of late bookings. 2, furthermore, since most East African partner states currently possess airlines, the committee directs CASOA to approach and negotiate tickets with the airlines. 3, fast track the alternative funding mechanism such that ESC stops buying expensive tickets from ticketing agents, since most ESC tickets are purchased on credit, hence their high prices. 2, 9, review of procurements. The Audit Commission reported that upon a review of the ESC procurements, it noted the following, and 1, incomplete provisions in the service level agreement. The ESC management undertook to make corrective action. And at page 61, much obliged.
Thank you very much, Honorable Fred Mukasambide and the Accounts Committee Chair. Members, as you may realize, this report has 204 pages. You all know the audit reports are always voluminous. The chair tried as much as possible to summarize, but it's not so easy to summarize an audit report. So we shall be able to begin from here tomorrow. I hope the chair will be able to even summarize much more to allow us to debate the report and get it out of the way. And the Women's Caucus has a very important motion they would want us to debate before we conclude this session. And tomorrow is our last day of plenary. So we have to do everything possible in our power to ensure that we finalize it as well. So please, after the training, use the night time to go through the report and you prepare the issues which you want to debate upon. I'd also like to inform members that there's always training in the evening and in the morning. So please, from here, go put on your training attire and head to the training grounds at General Tires. In the morning, if you require a wake-up call, let me know. I'll give you one. Football training begins at 6 a.m. And then for the ladies, we have volleyball training and basketball training from 6:30. Please make time for it. With those few remarks, House stands adjourned until tomorrow at 2:30. Thank you for your dedicated service today.